Hi there, I'm Jen. This is Mel. I'm more of a old person's like anime. I really love animation, cartoons and all that. And I've actually never read Game of Thrones, nor have I seen the movies. Mel has. She's seen the TV show. So this is the sort of first time getting into it. So I've got the first chapter of the book here. So Mel's going to correct me if I say anything wrong, because I'm probably going to get names and locations wrong. So at least you know what's going on. Okay, so chapter 1. We should start back. Garrett, okay. Garrett urged as the woods began to grow dark around them. The wildlings are dead. Do the dead frighten you? So Waldemar Royce, is that right? Yep. Right. Asked with just a hint of a smile. Dead is dead, Garrett said. We have no business with the dead. Are they dead? Royce asked softly. What proof do we have? Will saw them, Garrett said. If he says they are dead, then that's proof enough for me. My mother told me that dead men sing no songs, Will chimed in. My wet nurse said the same thing, Will, Royce replied. Never believe anything you hear at a woman's tit. There are things to be learned even from the dead. So poetic. We have a long ride before us, Garrett pointed out. 8 days, maybe 9, and night is falling. So Waldemar Royce glanced at the sky with disinterest. It does that every day about this time. Are you unmanned by the dark, Garrett? Garrett had spent 40 years in the night watch, man and boy, and he was not accustomed to being made light of. Yet it was more than that. A nervous tension that became... how do we say that? Perilous? New word, learnt. Close to fear. Will shared his unease. He had been 4 days on the wall. He was a veteran of 100 ragings by now. But something was different tonight. There was an edge to this darkness that made his hairs rise. So Waldemar Royce was the youngest son of an ancient house with too many heirs. He was a handsome youth of 18 and sworn brother of the Night's Watch for less than half a year. It is hard to take orders from a man you laughed at in your cups, Will reflected as he sat shivering atop his garron. Garrett must have felt the same. Mormont said, as we should track them, and we did. Garrett said, they're dead. They shan't trouble us no more. There's hard riding before us. I don't like this weather. If it snows, we could be a fortnight getting back, and the snow's the best we can hope for. Ever seen an ice storm, my lord? The lordling seemed to not hear him. Tell me again what you saw, Will. All the details. Leave nothing out, Royce said. The camp is 2 miles farther on over that ridge, hard beside the stream, Will said. I got close as I dared. There's 8 of them, men and women both, no children I could see. They put up a lean-to against the rock. The snow's pretty well covered now, but I could still make it out. No fire burning, but the fire pit was still plain as day. No one moving. I watched a long time. No living man ever lay so still. Did you see any blood? Well, no, Will admitted. Did you see any weapons? Some swords, a few bows. One man had an axe. Heavy-looking, double-bladed, a cruel piece of iron. It was on the ground beside him, right by his hand. Okay, so I'm guessing there's a massacre. Did you make note of the position of the bodies? Will shrugged. A couple are sitting up against the rock, most of them on the ground, fallen-like. Or sleeping, Royce suggested. Fallen, Will insisted. There's one woman up in Ironwood, half hid in the branches. A Far Eyes. He smiled thinly. I took care she never saw me. When I got closer, I saw that she wasn't moving neither. Despite himself, he shivered. Do you have a chill? Royce asked. Some, Will muttered. The wind, my lord. The young knight turned back to his grizzled man-at-arms. What do you think have killed these men, Garrett? Sir Waldemar asked casually. It was the cold, Garrett said with iron certainty. I saw men freeze last winter, the one before when I was half a boy. Everyone talks about snows 40 foot deep and how the ice wind comes howling out the north. But the real enemy is the cold. It steals up on quieter than will, and at first you shiver and your teeth chatter as you stamp your feet and dreamed of mulled wine and nice hot fires. It burns, it does. Nothing burns like the cold, but only for a while, and then it gets inside you and starts to fill you up. And after a while, you don't have the strength to fight it. It's easy for you to sit down and go to sleep. They say you don't feel any pain towards the end. First you go weak and drowsy, and then everything starts to fade, and then it's like sinking into a sea of warm milk. Peaceful like. Such eloquence, Garrett, Sir Waldemar observed. Never suspected you had it in you. I've had the cold in me too long, lording, Garrett added. 2 ears, 3 toes, and the little finger of my left hand. I got off light. We found my brother half frozen in his watch with a smile on his face. Okay, so we've got a brother that's died.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So Waymarsh shrugged. You ought to dress more warmly, Garrett. If Garrett said it was the cold, Will began, have you drawn any watches this past week, Will? Yes, my lord. There was never a week wherein he did not draw a dozen bloody watches. What was the man driving at? And how did you find the wall? Weeping, Will said, frowning. He saw clear enough now the lord had pointed out. They couldn't have froze. Not if the wall was weeping. It wasn't cold enough. Royce nodded. Bright lad. We've had a few light frosts this past week. A quick fury of snow now and then, but surely no cold fierce enough to kill 8 grown men. Men clad in fur and leather, let me remind you, with shelter at hand and the means of making fire. Will lead us there. I would see these dead men for themselves. The order had been given, and the honor bound them to obey. Okay. We can make a better pace than this, surely, Royce asked when the moon was full risen. Not with this horse, Will said. Perhaps my lord would care to take the lead? So Emma Royce did not deign to reply. Somewhere off in the woods, a wolf howled. Will poured his garin over beneath an ancient gnarled ironwood and dismounted. Why are you stopping so? Emma asked. Best to go the rest of the way on foot, my lord, just over that ridge. A cold wind whispered through the trees. There's something wrong here, Garrett muttered. The young knight gave him a disdainful smile. Is there? Can you feel it? Garrett asked. Listen to the darkness. Will could feel it. 4 years in the night watch, and he had never been so afraid. What was it?
Ooh, interesting, isn't it?
What's the night watch?
Yes.
It sounds like some sort of like coven cult or something.
I wouldn't say that.
Okay. No spoilers, guys. Alright, let's see. Wind, trees rustling, a wolf. Which sound is that unmans you, Sir Garrett? When Garrett did not answer, Royce slid gracefully from his saddle. He tied, Destria? I don't know how horses work. Destria securely to a low-hanging limb, well away from the other horses, and drew his long sword from its sheath. Say that 10 times fast.
Oh, God.
I don't think I could make it past 5. Trees press close here, Will warned. The sword will take you up, my lord. Better a knife. If I need instruction, I will ask for it, the young lord said. Garrett, stay here. Guard the horses. Garrett dismounted. We need a fire. I'll see to it. How big a fool are you, old man? If there are enemies in this wood, a fire is the last thing we want. There's some enemies a fire will keep away, Garrett said. Bears and direwolves, and other things. So Waymar's mouth became a hard line. No fire. Garrett looked down. No fire, he muttered, a low under his breath. Royce turned away. Lead on, he said to Will. Will eventually reached and looked down from the empty clearing. His heart stopped in his chest. For a moment, he dared not breathe. They were gone. All the bodies were gone. Oh no.
You get hurt?
A little bit. Get down, Will whispered urgently. Something's wrong. Royce did not move. He looked down at the empty clearing and laughed. Your dead men seem to have moved camp, Will. Royce has a sense of humor. This is me in the situation.
Humor himself.
Will's voice abandoned him. He groped for words that did not come. It was not possible. On your feet, Will, Sir Waymark commanded. There's no one here. I won't have you hiding under a bush. Reluctantly, Will obeyed. Sir Waymark looked him over with open disapproval. I am not going back to Castle Black with a failure upon my first ranging. We will find these men. He glanced around. Up the tree. Be quick about it. Look for a fire. Will turned away wordless. There was no use to argue. Fear filled his gut like a meal he could not digest. He whispered a prayer to the nameless gods of the woods. Down below, the lordling called out suddenly. Who goes there? Will heard uncertainty in the challenge. The woods gave answer. The rustle of leaves, the icy rush of a stream, the distant hoot of a snow owl. Ooh, snow owl. The others made no sound. Will saw the moment from the corner of his eye. Pale shapes gliding through the woods. He turned his head, a glimpse of a white shadow in the darkness. And then it was gone. Ghosts?
Creepy, isn't it?
Ghosts. At least I think it's a ghost. Will, where are you? Sir Waymark called up. Can you see anything? He was turning in a slow circle. suddenly wary, his sword in hand. He must have felt them, as Will felt them. There was nothing to see. Answer me. Why is it so cold? A shadow emerged from the dark of the wood. It stood in front of Royce. Tall it was, and gaunt, and hard as old bones, with flesh as pale as milk. Its armor seemed to have changed colour as it moved. Here it was white as new fallen snow. There, black as a shadow. Everywhere dappled with the deep grey green of the trees. That is another tongue twister in this book. Deep grey green. Hey. I do love the descriptions, though. They're really nice. I can kind of see the scenery of where they
It
are.
helps you imagine it. Use your imagination to bring things to life.
It's got very medieval feel to it, which I can appreciate. I feel like I'm back in like old England. Will heard the breath go out of Sir Waldemar Royce in a long hiss. Come no farther, the lordling warned. His voice cracked like a boy's. He threw the long sable coat back over his shoulders to free his arms for battle. He took the sword in both hands. The wind had stopped. It was very cold. The other slid forward on silent feet. In its hand was a long sword like none that Will had ever seen. No human metal had gone into forging that blade. It was alive with moonlight, translucent, a shard of crystal so thin that it seemed to almost vanish when seen edge on. Invisible sword. So Waldemar met him bravely. Dance with me then. He lifted his sword high over his head, defiant. His hands trembled from the weight of it, or perhaps from the cold. Yet in that moment, Will thought, he was a boy no longer, but a man of the night's watch. The others halted. Will saw its eyes. Blue, deeper than any human eyes, a blue that burned like ice. They emerged silently from the shadows, twins to the first. 3 of them, 4, 5. So Waldemar may have felt the cold that came with them, but he never saw them and never heard them. Will had to call out. It was his duty, and after his death, if he did, he shivered and hugged the tree and kept the silence. Hugged the tree?
He was scared.
Damn. The pale sword came shivering through the air. So Waldemar met it with steel. When the blades met, there was no ring of metal on metal, only a high, thin sound at the edge of hearing, like an animal screaming in pain. Roy checked a second blow, and then a third, then fell back a step. Another flurry of blows, and then he fell back again. Behind him, to the right, to the left, all around him, the watchers stood, patient, fearless, silent, yet they made no move to interfere. Again and again the swords met, until Will wanted to cover his ears against the strange anguish keening. Keening's a word I haven't seen used a lot. Keening of their clash. So Waldemar was panting from the effort now, his breath streaming in the moonlight. His blade was white with frost. The others danced in the pale blue light. Then Royce's parry came a beat too late. The pale sword bit through the ring mail beneath his arm. The young lord cried out in pain. The others said something in a language that Will did not know. His voice was like a cracking of ice on a winter lake. And the swords were mocking. So Waldemar Royce found his fury. For Robert, he shouted, and then came up snarling, lifted the frost-covered longsword with both hands and swinging it around in a flat sidearm slash, with all his weight behind it. The other's parry was almost lazy. When the blades touched, the steel shattered. A scream echoed through the forest night, and the longsword shivered into 100 brittle pieces. Like shards scattering like a rain of needles, Royce went to his knees, shrieking and covered in his eyes, blood welled between his fingers. Oh, he lost. Good fight. Good fight.
He tried.
He tried.
It was good effort.
Good effort. The watchers moved forward together as if some signal had been given. Swords rose and fell, all in a deathly silence. It was cold butchery. Oh, I like that. Cold butchery. Good phrase. Good phrase. The pale blade sliced the ring mail as if it was silk. Will closed his eyes. Far beneath him, he had heard their voices and laughter as sharp as icicles. Oh, gosh, that's kind of creepy. When he had found the courage to look again, a long time had passed and the ridge below was empty. He stayed there in the tree, scarce daring to breathe, while the moon crept slowly across the black sky. Finally, his muscles cramping and his fingers numb with cold, he climbed down. Royce's body lay face down in the snow, one arm outflung, lying dead like that. You saw how young he was. A boy. He's just been traumatized. Poor dude.
Too young.
He found out He found what was left of the sword a few feet away. In the end, splintered and twisted like a tree struck by lightning, Will knelt and looked round warily and snatched it up. The broken sword would be his proof. Garrod would know what to make of it, and if not him, then surely the old bear Mormont. Oh god, Mormont? That sounds like a supermarket. And then we've got Maester Aemon.
Yeah.
Okay, new character introduced. Would Garrod, I almost called him Carrot.
I heard it.
Would Garrod still be waiting with the horses? He had to hurry. Will rose, so Waldemar Royce stood over him. His fine clothes were a tatter, his face a ruin. A shard from his sword transfixed the blind white pupil of his left eye. The right eye was open. The purple burned blue. It saw. They sound like sort of Celtic, fairy, sort of mythical creatures. It's just interesting.
Very interesting. I mean, you did hear that they were all like the blue, so it's not normal. You wouldn't see it anywhere else.
And kind of
imaginative.
Yeah, like very fantasy. I kind of like it though. They're really, really cool monsters. I love like monster designs that tie into the environment, so that's really cool.
Good.
You see it a lot in anime. Yeah. Broken sword fell from his nerveless fingers. Will closed his eyes to pray. Long, elegant hands brushed his cheek and then tightened around his throat. Oh no, he's dying. Oh. They were gloved in the finest moleskin and sticky with blood, yet the touch was icy cold. What a way to end chapter.
It was beautiful, but it was also so sad.
That's a way to build anticipation. I really enjoyed how descriptive it is. Like I said, saying before, it's like almost poetic.
Yeah.
How everything's sort of described. Like I really like the whole swordplay being described as a dance. Like you can really imagine it clashing and things. So yeah, really enjoyed that. Can't wait to see what happens next. Description of the corpses as well, being arranged into a pattern. There's no mention of that, what I've just read in this first chapter, of how they're like arranged into that sort of weird pattern, whereas in the show they pretty much just dedicate a shot to having the pattern of corpses around, and then seeing that close-up of that girl with her eyes all done up, which comes back later to obviously slaughter. And just the descriptions as well of the actual, I think they're called the White Walkers. Yeah, they're like the creatures as well, being sort of, in the book I get the description, there's sort of these weird fae, kind of frozen fae creatures, like mythical. They're not human at all. They don't work on instinct or humanity. They're just out for blood. Whereas I think the TV show, they look like risen corpses. They have like a skull, and they sort of look more
humanoid.
Yeah, like
human, sort of frozen looking as well.
Yeah, like just frozen skeleton cryptids. Whereas I think in the book they're meant to be. They're more like these otherworldly creatures that just don't have reason. They just want to kill. I guess that's all I'm getting from the first chapter. I might be wrong as we get further down the line. I think what I like about from reading it is just how much of a fight is also put up, and you really get this sense of danger, like, oh my goodness, like they didn't expect to run into this thing. Whereas the TV show, it starts off really nice. It's like a mystery of where they're going and what they found these bodies and what's happening. But unlike the book, I think that sort of humor and banter between all three characters was just a lot better. Because in the show, I actually couldn't figure out who's who. I didn't know who Will was. I didn't know who Garrod was. I just kind of was like, oh, there's three characters walking through that. I don't know their importance. But here I get a sense for who's who. Like, someone's more scared, there's a little bit more sarcasm, and you get a little bit of more backstory onto who these people are, sort of the role they play between each other. And if I'm not mistaken, to be fair, you get animes that run for like 9 seasons and there's like 3 million characters introduced.
Did you keep up?
Yeah, so
can't wait. Yes, it is very interesting. And also another thing, it's very interesting how the White Walkers also bring the cold as they appear in the scene, so it really sets the tone for the scene and the ambience, which I find very interesting. My book.
Definitely feels a lot more like horror, like thriller horror in that start. So it's like, oh, what are these? Who are the night watchers? what's their relationship to everything else that's going on in the series. So yeah, I'm interested to see where this goes.
Let's see.
Guys, just before we forget as well, we've got a book coming out that you can pre-order and find in the link in the description below. I'm gonna actually redo that because I dropped the book.
I think when we say we have a book coming
Yeah, we got a
out.
book. Yeah, okay. Oh, that one's upside down. Okay, cool. Okay, 3, 2, 1. By the way, guys, we have a book coming out. This is not the ones, we're just got there, but it is coming out soon. Link is in the description if you'd like to pre-order or just buy it when it comes out. Super proud of it. It's original work. We're really keen to see it sort of get noticed, to get, what's the word? Supported. Yes, that's right.
It would be amazing.
Forgetting my words because it's so good. But yeah, so really excited for it. Just please, if you'd like to show your support and just read something new and interesting, just do that for us. That'd be great. Thank you.
That'd be great. Bye.